are these podcasts? WATP.
Obviously, Aaron Imholte and this whole storyline that's going on with him, Nick Rekieta, his wife, April Imholte, Kayla Rekieta. Everyone is talking about this story. It's the most interesting storyline to ever come out of the Dabbleverse, by far.
It's one of the rare stories where you're going into a major holiday weekend, usually, and anything else, there's some sort of pause for the news, and then they pick it up after the holiday.
Yep.
This just keeps evolving.
Yes, and I have
every day.
I have all new news for us, all these things that are breaking, and I want to apologize. I asked Doug before we started the show what he knows about this story. He doesn't know anything, which is good, because I've been following this a little too closely, and I've been talking about it. I did a show yesterday morning on the Who Are These Podcast channel. It's only a video. It's not a podcast. If you're an audio listener, you want to check that out. I had Tukey on. I had the Aussie guy. I had Soft Weekly. All people who know about this better than I do to tell me how I got this so wrong, thinking that this was a work. This whole thing with April leaving, Aaron and Aaron coming on and saying we got a divorce after lying about it for weeks and all that kind of stuff. So I did that show, and then I went on Be Dabbling Live, talked to Al Harible and Cardiff and OJ and Big Black and all these people about all that was going on.
The experts, yeah.
The experts. So I've been making the rounds, as I like to say. So I don't know what I've really talked about on this show, and it's all evolving so quickly. It's all happening so quickly. But Eric, you actually worked with Aaron.
In some capacity, yeah. We had him do a few specials last year for Compound.
Now, hold on a second. I just want to warn you.
Yeah.
Anything you say could be a victory lap for Chad Zumock. So be careful with that.
I'm sure he's due. You know, he still hates for whatever reason. And I keep trying to figure out the Chad thing. And I was like, if whatever he's obsessing on had to have been so minor, like it was nothing different than we did when O&A was still around. So I don't know why I'm labeled as bad as everybody else, but you know, Chad will do what he wants.
He's a mental patient, Eric.
He needs a hug.
Chad Zumock needs a friend.
Needs a hug.
He needs a hug. He's got a lot of problems in his life, and he's taking them out on everyone. Anyway, I didn't mean to distract you with that. I just thought
it's fine. Best to Chad.
I just thought it'd be a fun thing.
I don't care.
But go ahead. What was your experience?
We had him on, and look, you know, I do outside of Compound. I have other jobs that I do where I'm helping other radio people around the country who leave the business for some reason, get kicked out, layoffs, any of that stuff, and help build up their own infrastructure and do what they need to do.
Okay, we just talked about a guy that you could maybe give some help to.
Oh, the family Zoom call from their living room? That one? Yeah.
Terrible.
So when Aaron came on our radar and he started talking with Geno, he wanted to talk to Anthony, and he had me on. I think, Carl, you were on his show too at one point. And
he's a big O&A guy, and he would talk about that all the time. And so he had me on. He used to do an interview show in like at noon or something like that. Yeah. And I went on there and we talked about like Opie and Anthony and all the old radio stuff.
Yeah, same. And then I started to see his name showing up everywhere because apparently everyone didn't like the guy. Or was just trolling his show or whatever.
And you're like, this guy should be on Compound Media.
Yes, exactly. Because I was like, well, there's some heat around this thing, whether it's good or bad. Let's give him a go. He seems to know what he's doing. He's an old radio guy, so try it out. Yep. So he did about 5 specials, I think. And I know everyone's not going to want to hear this, but whether they were fans of his or didn't like him, he brought in subscribers. So
I bet.
I was like, all right, well, we just keep going with this every now and then, see how it goes. And then the show he used to do is not the show that he's doing now.
Right.
And it really started to change where he started leaning into all the people he said he didn't give a shit about that were just mocking him or ripping him apart. It was like now he's playing to them instead of against them. Or just
like how Stuttering John has evolved into that as well, yes.
You coined John perfectly. What was it? Performance outrage or performance emotion? Or I forgot the term you had.
Empathy.
Performative empathy.
Yes.
Yeah. He's just.
And it's crazy because we showcased that with Chris's daughter and John pretending to be so upset about that and crying about it. And then you fast forward just a day or two and there's Aaron watching Nick Rekieta be blackout drunk on a stream and going, "Come on, you got to get fucking help, man! Like trying to make himself cry.
He's dying right in front of us. Is what he's saying.
He's dying right in front of us. And then the next day, he's got powder under his face and his nose. He's goofing on him. It's like, okay, this is all fake. But go on.
El Horrible's new impersonation of Aaron now.
Yes, I love it.
I had to write him, and I told him, I said, the way you're doing Aaron's character now is like Oscar Schindler at the end of the movie when he's trying to give his watch and his rings. He's like, wait, I got some necklace. I could have saved more people. Like that whole tirade.
I love it.
So, yeah, we had Aaron on for a while, and no problems. He even filled in for Anthony with Geno a couple of times while Ant was out recovering. I had no idea how bad things were going until people just flood us with clips of every time something within the compound world happens. We just get emails and links and Twitter mentions, what have you. So it's hard not to follow what's going on.
Well, if he was
Aaron.
bringing in subscribers, then why did he only do 5 or 6 specials on Compound?
Because then I think his last special was somewhere either in August or the beginning of September. And then we had a month of Anthony stuff, and then Ant had his heart issues. So then we started switching up the schedule. So we weren't doing specials anymore. We were just having people fill in for Anthony for like 2-3 months. So that's why everything kind of changed. And then it kept getting worse on that end for his show, where we're seeing clips, not so much like you, but Melton's clips were being sent to us, and then Chad stuff, everything. So we're seeing it, and we go, all right, now they're out of control, but Aaron's playing into this and getting out of control. And I like the guy. I don't have a problem with the guy. I know that's not popular to say, but I would talk to him. He would write me and call me sometimes for advice on certain things, and I'm not going to put his business out there.
Yeah.
Professional stuff. And then he's like, well, how do I handle this? I go, all right, this is what you do. Here's how you handle it. Don't say anything until you're close to signing a deal or whatever is going on. Then, like, the next morning, I would see that he's on there and he's teasing everything. I'm like, why are you teasing something that hasn't happened yet? And he constantly does that. And I would call and yell, and I'm like, stop doing that. Stop putting stuff out there. And then when it doesn't happen, or if it's taking forever and doesn't happen, everyone looks at you like, oh, he's lying again, or you're a piece of shit, or something like that. It's just like, say less about the other stuff until it's ready to go. And then
he's in desperate need for PR counseling. He needs someone to sit him down and explain how to communicate, if you need to communicate things, or when to communicate them and how to communicate them. I'll give you an example, because what he's been doing since this victory lap he's taking over the Rekietas and April getting arrested is he seems to be being what his response should be to see how people react to it. For example, he posted today a photo of him drinking a beer at a bar, like a shitty bar in Minnesota. Be like, hey, look at me. I'm able to drink beer legally still. Pretty cool, huh? Like rubbing it in Nick's face that, he's no longer allowed.
In Minnesota.
Yeah, hey, check out what I'm up to. It's just like, okay, so now you're just taking a victory lap over all this, but before he was your friend and you were all upset about it. Yeah. So, like, which thing do you want it to be? And Eric, I think that's kind of the example you're just giving, where it's just like, hey, man, if you're going to handle this, like, handle it this way or that way, not both.
Yeah. I'm looking at what you're talking about here. I guess he's on the golf course now, and he's talking about after a night of alcohol consumption. Remember, your family's involved whether you like her or not right now,
yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Legally, nothing is done yet. You still have a lot of things that if she fucks up in some grandiose way, you're still responsible for. Her credit cards, if she does something with the truck, if she does something with...
Once they wipe the powder off those credit cards, he will be responsible for paying them off.
Right.
Yes.
Stop. I understand, and I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. I understand he had to say something at that point, right? Mm-hmm. But then going on later that night and doing what you guys call an emergency stream, and then the next morning he was on, and then all this tweeting and stuff, it's like... any shred of sympathy or maybe understanding people were going to have that didn't like you to begin with, or weren't really into your show or whatever you were doing, people were starting to lean over there, being a little sympathetic and trying to be understanding. This constant posting and showboating, in a way, turns people off. What we know they're wrong.
Yeah.
But now nobody's like there's no good guy in this wrestling match. It's two bad guys.
He had this amazing opportunity to show himself as the better person because, and I don't know if it was Melton saying this or El Harible or someone, but it's like this thing happens where he decides to distance himself from these people. And, he came out and he's just like, they're doing bad things and I'm a father and I can't be doing bad things. And everyone's like, okay, whatever. And then they get arrested. They have over 25 grams of cocaine in the bedroom and firearms and there's children. And we'll get into all of that stuff. And here's the opportunity to be like, and guys, this is what I was talking about. This is why I had to get out of there. And, it sucks that this happened, but this was the road. This is the path they were on. And I recognize that. No, it's just like, ha, 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 I get to drink beer still. You don't. Ha, 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 I'm the winner. You're the loser. Like, oh, well, now no one's going to root for you either, asshole.
And look, and being a parent, having kids involved in this situation, and then the other side having kids in this situation, you would think it's like, all right, I have to play this pretty on the level and be very humble and choose your words and what you're saying very carefully as this is still unfolding, as you still have legal responsibilities with her married and then her legal responsibilities and the other family. There's a lot to deal with here, and it's not happening anytime soon. I think one of your show, I don't know if it was you or Dabble Point, somebody said that the other family has to August now they got to remain clean before they get their
correct. Yeah, those are the terms. So yeah, they're going back to court
stuff, whatever.
August 20th or something like that. And,
so you got the entire summer.
They're gonna have random drug testing and yep, right. Yes.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
No, he's profiting too much. He's getting too many. He's not even talking about the goal anymore, Erik. The money's just rolling in right now. He's loving it.
All right, if you want to think along the shitty way of thinking along finances right now, right? All right, yes, you're making a ton of money, but you're not thinking ahead where you can kind of work this in a way where you're making money in the long run, not a ton of money for the next few days, and then everybody comes back from the long weekend. There's nothing going on, and then maybe John does something really stupid because he's not getting attention. Now the focus, like Eye of Sauron, switched over here, and now we're looking at John again, and Aaron's jumping up and down, and no one gives a shit anymore until August.
I brought this up on the show yesterday morning that I did on the stream, where I said right now he's getting all these new subs and all these new viewers and people are watching the show because he's the insider on the Rekieta thing. And Rekieta has a ton of both fans and trolls. So there's all these people interested in what's going on with Nick Rekieta, and here's the guy who was hanging out with him for the last 6 months that led up to this arrest and everything that's going on. So he doesn't realize this is fleeting. People aren't going to be hanging around when he's out of Nick Rekieta stories.
No, and the ones that are not leaning or focusing overly on Aaron and Steel Toe. They're then a side product to following Nick. The ones that are obsessed with Nick and the ones that hate Nick, so they're obsessed with Nick too.
Right.
They're focusing on Nick's world and Nick's immediate storyline, and then it's like you're a footnote. She's a footnote. The family's a footnote. That's what they're focusing on. I don't know what to even say to the guy other than shut up. Shut up.
Nick Rekieta is bigger than all of us. And so what happened just this week is that my buddy Alex Stein is on Tim Pool.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yes. And Tim Pool's got a very big show, a very big platform.
I heard.
They talk politics. They talk about the big news stories of the day. And props to Alex Stein for bringing this up. And Tim knew exactly what he was talking about. So I wanted to play some of that because there's a lot of people in this audience who don't know what the fuck we're talking about probably. And I was starting to explain this to my wife the other night. And I'm like, all right, so then Nick Rekieta and Kayla, they're hanging out with April. She's like, wait, who are those people? I'm like, we hung out with them in Philly. You've met them.
Yes.
Remember Kayla was the pain in the ass behind the merch table with you? She's like, oh, yeah, okay, that's right. So even people who know these people are confused by this story. So I thought Alex did a pretty good job of breaking this down with Tim Pool here.
People love drama. Like we talked about it earlier. I hate to bring it up, but like you see this Nick Rekieta drama, I'm obsessed with it.
This is decently big news. I mean, is there any outlets that's covering this?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Because he just got arrested, right?
You're talking about Nick. Oh, yeah, he just got arrested for scheduled possession of a scheduled substance or whatever.
But apparently, like other people as well. So
his wife, and so it gets really deep. There's this guy, Steel Toe Morning Show. That's his ex-wife, April. They're currently in a divorce.
We'll slow down. And so this one is decently big news, but it's not great national news. But it is. I still think it hits that level. For those that don't know, Nick Rekieta he's got 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
he's a prominent legal commentator who's.
What Tim Pool's doing here is trying to justify them all being gossipy Gregs, because. Listen, this is very interesting. This whole storyline is very interesting. And Tim Pool doesn't want to come off as just like exploiting it. So he's going, no, this is why this is an important news story, all right? Just so you guys know.
Covered big stories related, like Kyle Rittenhouse and things like that. And so apparently he's fallen onto some addiction and hard times or something.
Well, one year I think he was almost the top super chat getter of the whole entire year, supposedly. I mean,
he was doing long streams with lawyers. And I guess recently he left his camera running while he was
looked weird.
Taking care of himself.
That's what it looked like. His shoulder was moving in a weird way, and I know he's a lawyer and he's pretty litigious, so I don't know what he was doing, but it didn't look good.
Smart.
But this story is really actually kind of dark, and you probably don't know. But this April girl, she's actually a co-host of the show called Steel Toe Morning Show, and the guy that's divorcing her has come out and said that they're all using drugs, and then it's very random that they get arrested today because the stream just happened, I believe, 2 days ago. So something's really going on with Nick. I hope he gets help. But yeah, it's kind of big news because all the law tubers, what's really ironic is that he covers criminal cases, and now his case is going to be covered by all the law tubers. So
yeah, it said he was arrested. Was it possession of ammo and a firearm while user of a controlled substance or something?
Yeah, drugs, 5th degree possession. It's bad.
And that's crazy. And then who's this woman?
So that's what I'm talking about. So
April?
She was a co-host of a show called Steel Toe Morning Show. And this guy, Aaron Imholte, her current husband, even though they're going through a divorce, basically admitted that he would hang out with Nick and them, and that they were doing wife swapping, and that they were using ecstasy and cocaine. And this is what Aaron said. And so they're doing not very good. It's juicy. But the reason why I bring it up is drama. This is like candy. You know, all day I read about Trump, and we read about how the war in Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. But when you hear drama like this, it is literally like...
Candy's bad for you.
I know.
Yeah, so that explains why he's so fascinated by this whole thing. And another point that I made yesterday on the stream, but you know, people are debating back and forth. Was there wife swapping going on? What was going on when the four of them were all getting together? And I'm talking about Aaron Imholt and April Imholte from Steel Toe with Nick Rekieta and his wife at Rekieta Law. So obviously someone was asking Aaron personal questions that he definitely should not be answering. And they said, how many girls have you slept with in the last 6 months? And Aaron said 3. So if you just have to think about that for a second, you go, okay, well, April just left you, so you got a new piece. And then there's April, and then there's Nick's wife. That would be the third. So he's really leaning into the fact that there was swinging going on and wife swapping.
Wait, somebody asked him in the last 3 months how many girls he's been with?
In the last 6 months, how many girls have you slept with? I think this was on MLC.
Right.
A super chatter asked him, and he goes 3.
Okay.
Like, why are you answering that question?
If you don't want people, if it was 3 months, she left. I think he was saying 6 months ago. So all right, so they're right.
April left him at the beginning of April. She actually did Steel Toe show April 1st, and then left and never came back again.
Right.
So this is all pretty recent. What's going on? And he was lying for weeks on Steel Toe, saying, "No, she's upstairs cooking dinner. It's all good. Everything's great.
Smells good, honey."
Yeah, she'll probably be back on again someday soon. But really, she was at the Requetas on an ongoing bender, it appears.
See, even that, it's hard to. The waters are so muddied in this storyline. It's hard to figure out what's true and what isn't. There was some kind of hot tub stream that they did.
Yes.
Where he was saying like, "Oh, she hates me. She can't stand me," and I think he's pointing to. I think that's Nick's wife.
Yep.
And if that's the case, and she said something like, that doesn't matter, or why does that matter? She doesn't like, but then how is there wife swapping if that lady doesn't like him?
Well, he's come out and said, because people have brought that up, that he was teasing her, and that was like their little joke for the camera, that they don't get along. I know, it's a lot. Well, let me get back into this, because there's a few more things I want to show with Alex and Tim talking about this.
Can I just say, I don't know what it is, but if I ever come to Rochester, can you, Chris, and I do a hot tub stream? It sounds delightful.
It's the worst idea. It's never a good thing. It never leads to good things. All right, so this is Tim continuing to justify talking about this subject.
Down. I'd probably put it on a 3, meaning there's a time and a place for when it matters to talk about because it affects the greater media landscape. So maybe it is. This one I don't think is candy because it's important and it's about someone who's going through struggles, and there's a conversation that can come out of this about that could lead to helping other people who are sick.
Yeah, and it could help him, but I guess maybe why I said the candy part is because of the video where he is so inebriated. I mean, he's just like this, and I mean, everybody's had bad moments, I guess, in their life, but to do it live streaming when you're in control of the live stream, it's really bad.
Look, again, they're talking about Nick Rekieta right there in the live stream that he did, that Aaron then overreacted to. So Alex goes on to talk about all these streamers doing embarrassing things, including Darkside Phil jerking off on camera and stuff. And he also brings up our girl, Elisa Jordana.
I don't know if you saw the video. It went so viral. You definitely saw it where Eliza Jordana she got beat up by a guy, but she actually hit the guy first. It was that video in a car. Got millions of views.
No, I don't know.
Well, she just live streams her life. And then there's other girl that was on Court TV called Vegan Patriot. She's an IRL streamer. She just ran over somebody on stream. So it's weird how now we have a camera on everybody.
Yeah.
So you see the most degenerate things.
We covered that on the Creep Off. We watched that video of a woman just driving over a pedestrian and going, "Oh, you okay?" "No!" I hear from the pedestrian, "I'm not okay." All right. You're going to like this part, E-Rock. You said you've already seen this?
I saw the first part where he was talking to Tim about Nick and Steel Toe.
I like where Alex brings this conversation.
People.
If you want to see humanity at its worst, go follow Anthony Cumia's Twitter account. It is literally just like a black guy beating up a Chinese woman every tweet. I mean, seriously, every tweet. You're like, how much is this going on? But I think that's good that we see it. But there is a lot of violence.
Humanity at its worst is also C-SPAN live streaming.
Okay, so this guy has to bring it back to politics. Yeah, I mean, you think that's bad, beating up Chinese people. What about C-SPAN? What's going on in the government?
Okay. Yeah, all those prank calls that happen in the afternoon drive.
Last clip I have from this. This is just Alex Stein dropping some facts on Tim Pool, and I'm here for it.
On TV, like it's been on TV forever.
But speaking of that, Tim, you can look it up. The CIA, got caught making fake beheading videos. You saw that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Type in CIA beheading videos.
Real quick though, how about we talk about that in the members only? Because I have a question.
Okay, it's good.
This arrest record says possess schedule 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's a drug.
I know, but does that mean they have a bunch of different ones?
I think so. I believe so. Aaron Imholte, the guy that was hanging out with him, said that he used Molly, MDMA, and cocaine while he was hanging out with him very recently. So I'd imagine they probably have a little bit of weed, too. I don't know that. I'm just speculating.
Well, they're reclassifying that, aren't they?
They're what?
All right, then they get into the drug talk. So let me break this down for everyone. Let me tell you what actually happened, because it's fascinating. When the cop cam footage comes out, that's going to be everywhere. I personally am looking forward to that. So here's the article that came out. Famous legal advice YouTuber facing 25 years in jail. It says, U.S. lawyer Nick Rekieta is facing 25 years after being arrested on Thursday alongside his wife Kayla and another fellow internet celebrity. Prosecutors filed charges against the Minnesota couple on Friday for second-degree drug possession, child endangerment, and a gross misdemeanor firearm charge. According to the arrest documents, police reportedly attempted to execute a search warrant on May 23rd at Rekieta's home and was greeted by a little girl at the front door who would not let them inside. Do you know the details of this, E-Rock?
I don't.
Okay.
No,
so
I don't know.
Nick was pulled over. So they have the search warrant because the pastor of their church went to the police department the week before and said, I've been told by 4 people we need to do some type of welfare check. It could be child endangerment at the Rekieta's house. So a week later, they get the judge to give them the order to execute the search warrant. They pull Nick over because he's like dropping one of his kids off somewhere or something. And they bring him back to the house and they say, we have a search warrant. Can you give us the code to the front door? And after Rekieta refused to provide the door code, police used a battering ram to gain access and found the couple and 4 juveniles inside. After searching the master bedroom and bathroom, authorities allegedly found a variety of drug paraphernalia, including 3 small bags that tested positive for cocaine, 8 green tablets that tested positive for ketamine, a digital scale, and several other items that tested positive for cocaine. Police also found a gun with several magazines and loose ammunition underneath the bed, a spent shell casing on the bedroom floor, and located additional firearms and ammunition in the garage. Rekieta and his wife were taken into custody, told authorities he and his wife slept in the master bedroom where police claimed to have find most of the drug paraphernalia, which is interesting, is that they also found April's credit cards in their bedroom.
All right, yeah, I heard that.
You heard about that.
Yeah.
So she's spending time in the bedroom with them
So
as
empty
well.
casings they found too. So was he shooting the gun in the house?
Dude, is that bizarre?
Yeah. That stuck out the most to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation on that. That's very bizarre. I mean, this is a house with 5 children in it.
What stuck out most to me is that responsible child that does not let strangers come in the house. I tell that to my kids all the time. I'm like, don't let strangers in. If they flash a badge, don't believe them.
Well, the other thing that's crazy about this, obviously, is the police are at the door. Let us in, police. We have a warrant. They're refusing to open the door, but they're not flushing the cocaine down the fucking toilet.
Nope.
Have you never seen Goodfellas? That's what you do.
Honey, are there any
Karen, we
casings on the
needed
floor?
Yeah, clean up a little bit.
Just one.
Do you think Nick's going to be driving around now, just crouching down, looking for the helicopters, tailing him?
Totally.
There's one other thing in here that I wanted to read, I think. It's just what Nick has put out on his social media about the news. So, hey, obviously a lot has happened. I'm sorry. For legal purposes, it must be reiterated that the sorry is for the disruption and is in no way related to any pending legal matters. That said, please realize that no one has the full story or picture on anything. It's possible no one ever will. Nothing reported is accurate, and that's not their fault. I've seen so many supportive messages. Thank you for that. I'll still be doing stuff from home now. Stay tuned for show announcements and stuff here on Locals.
That's not going to help his fucking court shit either if he's going to be streaming all summer until his court date in August. They're going to be combing through anything he says to be usable for that. And not just like the government or anything, but everybody that follows this case or followed him or hates him, they're going to be breaking it down like Melton does to Steel Toe.
Right. And I'll just say, if there's anyone who's tuning out right now, this is not just the Dabbleverse. This is Rekieta's got a huge following. The whole law tube angle on this, because I'm watching all these other attorneys who are breaking this down. There's possibly millions of people watching this all unfold right now. It's very interesting what's going on. Here's an example. So this is Nick's arraignment. So the next morning, they take them all to jail because they have a ton of cocaine. I think Dick Masterson made a joke on Twitter where he's like, 25 grams of coke, what do you buy at Costco? Like, that's a lot. When Dick Masterson says that's a lot of cocaine, that's a lot of cocaine. Yes. So to have that much in different areas and throughout the bedroom and stuff like that and everything else they found, and the child endangerment charges too is pretty brutal. So this is another guy who I think used to work with Nick and stream with Nick, breaking down the arraignment, and something very interesting happens here.
Your Honor, I have requested to see 2 of my clients and have been forbidden from doing so. I'd like to see them before their arraignment.
He's going to represent his. I'm not understanding your request. Can you repeat it?
As 2 of my clients are set for arraignment today, I have requested to see them. They have both requested to speak to their attorney, who is me, and they have been prevented from doing so up to this point. I was wondering if we could get an order to allow me to at least speak to my clients before they come into their first appearance.
It was at this point I realized he doesn't get it. You have no business representing anybody else in a matter in which you were arrested. You shouldn't be representing yourself, let alone anyone else. Stop. Get help. Now.
So this is very interesting. So he just said to the judge, hey, I haven't been allowed to talk to my clients yet, talking about his wife and his side piece, April, who all went to jail. And he goes, I need to talk to them before they have their arraignment because I'm their attorney. So listen to this.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if the court is aware. April Imholte has been released.
Okay.
So he didn't know this. All the charges were dropped on April Imholte. She's free. She's out. So he's sitting there going, I need to talk to April. She's my client, and she's been charged with drug possession. They're like, no, actually, we dropped those. And you can see his face just like, wait, what?
Yeah, what did she say?
Well, thank you, Chris.
Exactly.
You're right on the same page as me, because then on Geno Bisconte's show yesterday, Aaron calls in, and this is fascinating. Listen to what Aaron says. This is from the So Thorough Joe Burrow YouTube page. Listen to what Aaron has to say to Geno.
What the fuck? Well, that's because, and I talked to my lawyer, and because the internet goes, well, Nick probably told the cops that she was just visiting, so they dropped the charges.
I hope he did. Do you think he did? As a lawyer.
No.
Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you what happened. The cops are not going to arrest 3 people for having drugs and guns, and then because one of the other defendants tells them that the other one is innocent, they're going to go, "Oh, we totally believe you. By the way, ma'am, you're free to go." Like, nobody fucking does that. So what definitely happened, and I won't say definitely because I don't know, but I talked to my lawyer, and he said, put it this way: if she were in the mafia, she'd be dead by now.
Yeah.
Like she offered to roll, and that text message that what she sent Ethan Ralph, she verbatim that he tweeted out. She sent that verbatim copy paste text to me. When she said somebody else did this to me, that's her starting to roll over.
Wow. So even Aaron is speculating that April Imholte will be rolling over on these two and giving up some dirt, because why else would they just release her? What do you think, Eric?
All right. 1, Geno, put some fucking socks on. Nobody wants to see your feet. Number 2, Aaron, why are you still fucking talking about this?
It's so fucking crazy, isn't it?
Holy shit. Now, whatever anybody takes from what you just said there, you could have just made shit a lot worse for April.
Yes.
With that. So if somebody wants to play...
Well, he wants to.
Yeah. He clearly does.
He clearly does.
But
He's clearly getting his revenge.
What if something happens, one of these, because you know the internet, everybody is an autistic and a psychopath.
Correct.
What if somebody goes and does something to her in the name of Nick, like he's a big Nick fan or she's a big Nick fan, and then does something to her because they think she ratted them out and now they're going to do jail time. Now they're going to shift the blame to her. With him saying shit like that, you're making things worse. I just want to smash his head into the wall. Like, right. Shut the fuck up.
So here's another law streamer talking about this case and bringing up the points that we're making.
So they appear to be dismissed, which of course means April is likely to be a witness against Nick, which, depending on what she has to say, could potentially influence the government to potentially even bring more serious charges, depending on what she observed and knows and all the rest of it. Snazzy trinkets.
So that's very interesting. So now April is a witness against her friends, the Rekietas, potentially. And now it's not just what they found during that raid. Mm-hmm. It's all the things they were doing, neglecting the children, these benders and the drug parties for all those months that she was observing. Potentially. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what's going to happen, but
I don't think everyone says they're worried about the kids, but I don't think anybody involved here gives a shit about either set of kids. Look, this shit happened. It was what it was, and we're dealing with it now. But going on and posting things, all of them, Aaron, saying things, you're putting your kids, their kids, through worse shit by just keeping this alive, and you keep talking about it. Just shut the fuck up, all of you, and just say, yes, we're dealing with this right now. We'll talk about it when we have more. You know what this is turning into?
That wouldn't be fun for. Look how much fun we're having right now. If he wasn't calling into Geno's show and everyone wasn't specking, this was the great part about it.
Carl, get ready to cash in a few months, maybe by the end of the year, because here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
This shit keeps rolling in fucking crazy train as it's doing. All this, your show, Melton, everybody else's stuff, is all going to become some part of a true crime podcast that's going to be way bigger than all of these shows combined. And then you're going to have to do testimonials, and Melton and Chad and all these people are going to be in there. All the Nick Rekieta people are going to, and then that's going to blow up. Then that will become a Netflix true crime thing. This thing is going for years.
I have 2 questions. First, who's playing me in the Netflix recreation of this?
Brad Pitt.
Perfect.
I was going to say, who's the skinny guy from Scream? Matthew Lillard. Give him the goatee. Okay. I think that's you.
I like that. I think that.
And then for Chris, I think like if we could dig up Tom Bosley, I think that'll work too.
How dare you?
That'd be great.
Mr. Hamburger, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? All right. So this is the craziest part. So we've gotten to a pretty crazy part of this whole saga. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that Geno did on his show yesterday, which God bless the man for doing this, he was texting with April after she was let go, and April was texting back, and he reads it all. Oh. I love it. I love this. So let's see what is going through April's mind right now.
I don't know how to get it through your thick skull, April, that all the charges against you were dropped. You didn't get picked up and blow a .08 with a bag of weed. You were whacked out on fucking Lord knows what drugs.
By the way, props to Extreme Gonads 9585 on Reddit for putting this together because, as we all know, Geno's not going to sit there and present this cohesively. No. We got to pull the clips
not
together.
his style.
Yeah, right.
In a house with children and guns. I reached out to April yesterday and I told her, I just put sending love, sweetie, and then I wrote, you got taken advantage of by those two, sweetie. As I say on the show every day, we're the sum of everything that put us here right now in this moment. You're young, you're smart, you're going to come out of this great.
1 out of 3.
Okay? And then I put, just be strong and have faith in yourself because I will remind you again, you're a great person. And then I put, I'll stop bothering you because I didn't even expect a response, okay? Didn't even expect a response. And she wrote, these charges of mine were dropped because this isn't who I am. I'm not an addict. I am healthy. Now, let me point something out right there.
Yeah. First off, they don't put you in jail and charge you with having drugs on you, but only if you're an addict.
No.
That's not how that works at all.
Yeah, they don't care if you're addicted or not.
Yeah, right.
It's just you get arrested if you're at a party and somebody got arrested for having stuff and you didn't know, but the homeowner or the apartment owner had it in the house. So, you know, it's arrest everybody, sort it out later.
For that. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yes. Doug, are you following all of this? Is this making sense to you?
Do you want me to answer truthfully?
Yes, please answer truthfully.
Not at all. No, I don't. Listen, I apologize. I really do. Like, I don't know any of these people. I listen to your show, Carl. Yep. That is it. That is all I'm getting, and I am so lost right now. Sorry. You can cut all this, editor. Whoever editor is, cut all this shit.
I wanted to know if I did a good job presenting this, and I guess I did not. But I didn't know where to back up to.
You should have sprinkled in some movie talk for Doug.
It's not your fault. I feel like I just zoned out. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. I didn't fucking call her an addict. I didn't say she was unhealthy. I didn't. And then she went on. I told this to Aaron days ago. And then she wrote, my name is ruined because of the internet. And that's where it's like, it's not. It's not ruined because of the internet. So again, where did we leave off the April thing? April. I told Aaron this days ago. Now my name is ruined all over the internet. I can't even address it because it adds fuel to the fire. So then April goes on. As far as those two, all I can confirm is that in a hardship I'm going through, the divorce, of course, I think you know about that. They have given me a home and any support I've ever needed. Now, if I were to weigh in on this, and I didn't with her, because out of respect to April, I'm not going to tell her what most people have drawn an opinion on already, okay?
I'm just going to do it on my show for everyone else. All right, let's go, Geno.
Wouldn't it be great if Gina goes, oh, by the way, we're about 175 from the goal.
Yes.
You can hit us with PayPal,
that would have been perfect.
All of that.
I think the Rekietas fucking groomed her. I do. Fucking Aaron was smart enough to get out, and April just got sucked in. So then she says the Rekietas are good people. I'm not going to fucking expand on that because again, draw your own conclusions from what you know, from what you've seen. Okay. Here's what I'd love to say. What could they have been doing, for her that she couldn't get from Aaron? And I don't know that dynamic. There's stuff I know, but whatever. Or her parents. I even said to her, I'm like, you have a family. Go hang out with your family. So she's like, I'm healthy for the record. No one's mug shots look good. I could not agree more. I've been sobbing. I weigh the same as always. I'm not an addict. I never bought anything, not even weed. We know.
Is that weird? I weigh the same as before.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to. Did Geno quiz her on that? LBs if he drops and start doing
why
coke?
Geno?
Yeah, right.
No, that's like a page out of Aaron's book where it's like, I'm going to put this out front but to get ahead of something, and then everybody goes, wait, ahead of what? What are you getting ahead of? Why did you say that? Now we need to look and see what was behind those comments. That seems to be trying to get in front of something. It's like, I weigh the same as before. And you go, nobody was questioning that.
When Aaron came out and he goes, listen, guys, I got to be truthful. I've used cocaine 3 or 4 times, and I've done Molly 6 or 7 times. You're like,
There was no need for him to bring that up.
No,
none.
Definitely not.
We know.
And that was before this arrest, before the search warrant, before all of this stuff.
I maybe have sucked a dick once.
Yeah, right.
Maybe once.
I sucked 1 or 2 dicks. Like, that's always 3.
So she goes on. Okay, this is wrong. When you hear or see someone speaking about me these ways, please don't have fun with it. She's really upset, okay? Really upset. She's like, this has ruined my life, and it wasn't even by my doing. Okay, it's easy for me to say because I didn't live it, but am I putting too much weight in the fact that she got off scot-free?
It wasn't even her doing. This happened to her.
Yeah.
April's got the wrong attitude on this one. I know she's been through a lot. I don't want to pile on.
My life is ruined, and this wasn't even my doing.
Yeah.
So, okay, if your life was ruined by your doing, that would have been all right. But by the fact that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time and this happened,
you made
then you're
those
like, well,
decisions.
this wasn't my fault.
It's totally her fault. She made the decision to go and hang out at the drug house for the rest of her life.
Breathe a sigh of relief and stay off your fucking phone.
Right. Yes. No shit.
Am I putting too much weight in the fact that she has her whole life ahead of her? Am I putting too much weight in the fact that, April, you're done with Steel Toe, the show and the man? Definitely the show. I don't want to, like I'm an optimist. Probably the dude.
Probably.
What, were you going to start another podcast? No, you're not.
Also, I'll say this, if April's watching this, there's a lot of guys out there that she just got way hotter based on what we found out about how she likes to live her life.
Her mugshot's probably on that website we used to use for O&A when the teachers would get arrested for sleeping with their students.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And then we would have to gamble based on the story. It's like, is she hot or not? And then we'd pull up the photo. She's probably on that website now.
You're done. Fucking, it's like you're walking, you're in a fucking action movie, April, and fucking you just fucking, you just walked away from the exploding wreckage waving your get out of jail free card. I don't care if they're, I don't even know. I don't care if they're, hugging you 24/7? If you're in a house filled with guns and drugs, and I don't mind you having guns, unless there's also drugs and children in that house, okay? I don't think that's a good combination, but I get it because you need the guns to protect the drugs.
And also, the guns were not secured properly. I want to point out. So
no, you don't. It's not a Western. You're not sleeping with your revolver under your pillow in case varmints break in, and you got to start protecting your cattle and your land. You can't just put your gun under the pillow.
But I think that's an important thing to point out. And again, I'm so confused by this because there's 4 children in the house. There's April and Kayla. The cops are knocking on the door, and they don't put the guns in the gun safe and the coke in the toilet. And like, what were they doing?
And they tell one of the kids to answer the door.
You put the kid like, hey, give the cop a birdie for us. Like, what are you doing?
You're not supposed to just stack your guns and credit cards under your bed? Is that not
That's
what
like what they were doing. Like
they'll never look under the bed.
Kicking bullets under the bed. I won't find this. It's insane.
And hopefully the kids don't get to it. I'm sorry. You know me. I'm very pro Second Amendment. Very. Fucking have a gun to protect your shit. But don't have a gun to protect your shit if it's cocaine and lies. So again,
and lies.
I mean, I hope she does see this. It's like, get the fuck away from that. Because April wrote, now to pick up the shattered pieces, my circle of people will be the smallest anyone's ever had. Can't trust a soul. And I said, good. I said, that's exactly what I'm telling you, honey. I said, this is why I'm reaching out to you now, April. Everything I've ever said about the Dabbleverse is it's evil and shit. And that was for her sake. There are a lot of people in the Dabbleverse I'm enjoying lately. I work with your ex-husband every Friday at this point, and never once have I brought you up to badmouth you. I know you're young. I know you've got your whole life ahead of you, and I need you to realize that you have your whole life ahead of you.
By the way, when I was on Be Dabbling Live with El Harible yesterday, Geno called in. Because I've been talking about how Geno put out a tweet that's like, it's sick how everyone's now paying attention to April and Aaron's personal life. They're going through a tough time. It's just like, they talked about their personal life all the time on their show. Now it's actually interesting.
Right.
Now it's not cooking dinner for the kids.
Yeah, it's a new frontier for them.
Yeah, this is very exciting. So Geno called in to El Harible show. He's just like, no, I'm talking about like Melton, who's just lying about them nonstop. I said, well, it all turned out to be true. So it's kind of hard to like be mad at Melton because there was wild speculation going on with all of this, and then it was like all came true. That's why this is so fascinating.
It was weird with the Melton thing because I didn't know who the guy was, and then when he was going on this tangent for Aaron in his show, and we were getting clips, seeing clips, what have you, and I talked to Aaron. I go, I don't know who is this guy. It just seemed like he was really going and laying in for Aaron for no reason.
Yeah.
But then as time was going on, and you're starting to piece some of this stuff together, and you're like, he's on to something. And then you see like some of these shorter clips, final products of where things are going. And you're like, holy shit, this guy was ahead of everything, even though everybody thought he was just carrying on and going nuts. And it's like, well, he saw something. He wheeled in
he might have even affected it. It's one of those things where, you know, in physics, if you observe something, you can actually have an effect on what happens to it. Especially when you observe something, you tell all your followers to observe it and reach out to the DA and, you know. So one of the things that I used to say to Melton, I had him on my show, I've talked to him about this, is enough with telling people to strike people and try to get them in trouble with the authorities. Like, that's not fun. That's not the fun part. And Patrick was very much like leaning into that aspect of it. But now the way this is all played out is the most interesting storyline we've ever seen on the Dabbleverse. I don't think anything could possibly top it.
Well, you got the title of the unofficial biography, Cocaine and Lies, the Imholt, Rada, whatever his last name is, story.
That is the only thing that I will disagree with Geno on. I can think of nothing better to protect cocaine than guns. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's important, actually.
Yeah, a bear trap.
No one brings up protecting the kids with the guns.
Right? Yeah, no, that was not the problem.
To be clear, maybe your name is ruined on the infinitesimally, I can't believe I speech to text of that, small part of the internet. The Dabbleverse exists in, and whatever. The small part of the internet the Dabbleverse exists in. Then I wrote, just keep being healthy and true to yourself. Like, I think that's good advice. Just keep being healthy and true to yourself. And I will not say anything about the Rekietas anymore out of respect to you. I guess I meant in the text thread. But I'm older, and I've seen people take advantage of people. I'm not saying anything about Aaron's dynamic with them. I'm just saying that I think they should have watched out for you more. But I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. I'll take your word for it, but I'll be a little cynical. I'm telling you that because I respect you, always have, always will. Like, I think that's a nice thing to say. But I'll say it again.
Wait. Can you pause this real quick? I'm fascinated. Is that his wife that's like, am I part of this right now? What is going on?
Okay, so he's yelling off to his fiance, Keanu, in the background. Now, here's the other dynamic, and thank you for stopping that because I didn't explain this. The other dynamic going on here is that the four of them, April, Aaron, Keanu, and Geno, became very close friends. They even traveled to Minnesota. They went to a Vikings game together. They've hung out. They've done stuff. And now, since this divorce, Aaron has claimed Geno and Keanu as his friends because he has them on his show every week. So Geno's like the co-host on Fridays. I think Keanu's on Thursdays with Steel Toe.
All right.
So they very much are team Aaron, I guess, in this.
I'm getting this. I'm picking it up.
You're picking it up. You got it.
Happens to you. Every fucking thing that happens to us in the past makes us the person we are today. And you can't live in regret. You take what happened and you learn from it, and it makes you stronger. And you're going to come through this, April, and somehow you're going to be even more incredible than the April I hung out with last year, and I hope to hang out with again sometime. Okay? Now that's... Huh?
What do you want?
And then she writes, the Rekietas are good people. I disagree. No matter what struggles they do, they've done, I'm not going to, despite anything said about them. I'm a good person. Aaron in this internet has ruined my life. All right, well, that's a bold statement. I don't know how to get out. I don't know how to get it out there that all charges against me were dropped.
We know.
We know. April, we know. We know. And let me say it again. All the charges. I don't know how, watch this. I should have wrote, I don't know how to get it through your thick skull, April, that all the charges against you were dropped. And again, I said this to Keanu. You didn't get picked up and blow a .08 with a bag of weed. You were whacked out on fucking Lord knows what drugs in a house with children and guns. Okay? I don't know how to get out there that all the charges against me were dropped. That isn't me. That is that I still look the same. Everyone knows. I hope it gets through your head. She's like, I'm a loving, caring person. She is. She is. And I put understood. I'll keep the Rekieta's name out of my mouth, although I haven't. But realize the internet.
What a friend.
I said, but realize the internet has not ruined your life. That part of the internet has taught you a lesson about who your real friends are. I'm on your side here, and if you need me, you can talk or text anytime. She's like, I'm trying to figure out my life and pick up the pieces now that Aaron and the internet have shattered it for me. Okay.
So you think they'll get back together?
I don't think so. I do want to say, and I know that like people like Melton and Chad Zumach, holy shit, Chad Zumach went hard at April. And honestly, they picked that fight with Chad. So they got what they had coming to them with Chad. But, the internet can't necessarily ruin your life. You can get away from the internet if you want to. You can also change the way you behave based on what the internet is picking up. So I don't know that. I don't like where April's head is at right now. Hopefully she comes around and figures it out, because right now she's blaming the wrong people.
Who are these podcasts?